and gentlemen, welcome back to the SmarkTank Revolution. We are your illustrious hosts. I am Joey Business, and I am joined by the
benevolent, intelligent, extravagant, eloquent. I always represent Mr. Donnie Wonderful, and don't forget, we always kick out at 2.
And it is Wednesday night, and you know what that means.
Technically, it's Thursday now. It's Thursday morning. But
Well,
yes,
right. Yes,
we're right off the heels of Wednesday night Dynamite, October 27th, 2021 edition.
Yes.
And they also, and we're also in the future because they pre-recorded AEW Rampage.
Yep.
That's going to air on the 29th.
Yes, and so we just collecting our thoughts from the show. Had to grab a little bit of grub. We got a little bit of a dinner and after show, but that's neither here nor there. So we have had privilege to see all Boston AEW shows so far. There's only been 2.
And by the way, we're in the car ride.
Yeah, so if you hear the whirring of the engine or other things amiss, well, it's
if
just
you hear
us on
my
the road.
exhaust, don't worry, I'm getting that taken care of.
Yeah. We're waiting for more subscribers. But anyways, so we were excited because the first time we were here, it was the second show of AEW ever.
Yes, to be more specific, it was October 9th, 2019.
Correct.
And before the show went on live, Tony Khan came out before both events started.
Which was interesting.
And he gave us a historical reference, and also he really put over Boston as one of the landmark cities of AEW and referenced the last show. I'm pretty sure he does that everywhere he goes.
I think so, but he had a knack for making it feel like you were special. He definitely made you feel like a pretty girl at the bar. It was nice.
That's a great analogy. But yeah, man, so it was set up nicely, and we talked about it before we hit record and started recording this show, how the show itself was sequenced a lot. So normally,
absolutely,
yeah. After a certain hour, maybe hour number 3, everything starts to drag.
Yeah, you get a little bit of fatigue. And the thing that I liked about this was, we let our thoughts marinate a little bit, for about 20 minutes. The show was paced brilliantly.
Right.
From the whole thing. I have been in the past to many SmackDown ECW tapings or SmackDown or Raw and what the hell was the show? Velocity or whatever. All those extra shows. And those always seemed to drag. They were really especially if they didn't record it before Raw. If you got the shit that they recorded after Raw, you were dead.
Ooh.
And you know what I mean?
I never actually
you never did?
been to a show. No, because I remember I was young too, so I remember going to a show at the Worcester Central at the time, and they recorded Sunday Night Heat and then Raw.
There you go.
But I was so young, and I just loved being at live events.
Yeah.
That I wanted to stay there all night long.
Yeah, so I've been there in the SmackDown era. Like I said, we talked about I was a ring rat from 99 to 2004. I saw pretty much anything that came around the Boston or Providence area. So I was very blessed to be able to see that stuff because I was in a job that allowed and afforded me connections with wrestling. But it dragged. Whenever they would do an after show taping, it dragged. Or the pre-show, it would suck the life out of you if you were sitting in your seat because you're there for 3-4 plus hours at that time. Now that's a daily thing where Raw is 3 hours, but before, Raw was 2 hours, and then you'd have Velocity or you'd have whatever it is.
Right.
And so my point is, again, the masters of the tangential that we are. My point is that this show treated it cohesively, almost like it was one big fluid show, with a slight intermission from Dynamite to Rampage. You still felt like there were one show. Nothing really got away where it was even though you're supposed to suspend disbelief and say, oh, okay, this is Friday. It didn't feel like that. Everything felt like Wednesday. Okay. It just felt like it flowed so well. And I said it to you, the show breezed by. I mean, I feel like the whole 4+ hours breezed by.
Yeah, I would say that the synergy in the building was different compared to 2 years ago. So when we were at the second Dynamite show, you know, there was still a buzz. There was still excitement. This was the new girl.
They were the new kid on the block.
Yeah, you know, like, and we still had that, and everything amazed us. Like, that was probably the only time I ever said wow at a Joey Janela match.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that, the ladder match.
Because he worked with Kenny. And I don't know about you, but before that time, I had never seen or heard a Private Party.
No, me neither. Never. And they stole the show.
They had their first match with the Young Bucks on that tag team tournament to crown the champions that they had.
Yep.
That SCU eventually wound up winning. I forgot who they beat. But if anybody can find that match on YouTube or wherever,
Private Party versus
watch
the Bucks.
Private Party versus the Young Bucks. I think it was the 8 seed versus the 1 or the 7 seed versus the 2.
But also you had the formation of the Inner Circle, where Jericho actually coined the phrase the Inner Circle, and he did the promo. It was our first taste of anti-establishment WWE promos that are now old hat today. When he was like, it was a stupid idea from bad creative.
Yeah.
Or you dumb shit. We heard shit. We're like, oh my God, we heard shit in a wrestling match. Now you hear shit
you hear it
every
all the time.
week.
So now walking into, I remember us even having conversations with people as we were all walking and filing into the building, and everyone was saying, I remember, like, we spoke to a couple from Connecticut.
Yep.
We didn't necessarily have that experience this time, but you walked in expecting things now, and I felt that, you know, we had our favorites. I wanted to see MJF. I was happy we got to see MJF, and we're going to get to that. We're eventually going to get down, break it down the show. Yeah. But, you know, we had people who we wanted to see.
Of course.
And I think, like, there was a buzz to see CM Punk. Because that was the first time I ever seen CM Punk live.
Me too, besides ROH. That was the only time I ever seen him live. The only other time I ever saw him live, actually I've seen him live a couple times, but they were all ROH lives. I saw him when he had the crucifixion on the X. I recall that vividly. I was at that gymnasium. And that was when a guy asked, I forget who he asked, but I think he asked Justin Credible. And he was like, did Brett fuck Sonny? And he was like, did Brett fuck Sonny? And then he paused for like 2 minutes, and he goes, of course Brett fucked Sonny. He goes, what are you, nuts?
It's blasphemy.
It was great, and it was very true, I'm sure. But anyways, so getting to the show. It was no longer the new kid on the block. It's their sophomore season, or actually a little bit longer than their sophomore season, because it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're firmly established. They are major players now.
Yes.
So now you're like, okay, how's this going to play out? Is it going to feel like a WWE show? Is it going to feel like another mainstream wrestling show? And Tony Khan coming out and doing that little piece of history helped make it something different. Still made it feel like they're up and coming, you know? And then you heard CM Punk's music, and all that washed away.
Yeah.
I was just enamored with Punk's music.
I think they're doing a good job with loading the card.
Yeah.
With some top names early. Mm-hmm. I think they're when you mentioned about pacing. Yeah. I think this is a great scheme to keep everyone's interest. And notice how
this is a very anti-WWE scheme,
which is true. But like, they spread it out between two shows, one night but 2 shows.
Yeah.
So if you're watching and you're not in Boston, or you weren't at the event tonight, you didn't see Bryan Danielson. Tonight, you saw an interview, because they showed an interview package.
Right.
But you won't see him until Friday. Mm-hmm. So what that does is that, you know, after you watch your SmackDowns, you're gonna naturally gravitate over onto TNT.
Yeah.
And see AEW's other big names. So it kind of keeps the viewer
They space it out really well. They don't have, like, you always see Roman Reigns, you always see Charlotte Flair, you always see. No, they make it like they alternate back and forth. It's like switch batting.
They have a formula. So,
yeah, and it works.
So just like the WWE's formula for a long time, especially with Raw, the beginning, the opening, there was always an opening promo that kind of set was the blanket for the whole show.
Right, and we don't. Well, I'm not AEW. And they don't do that. They don't do that. They go bam right into the top wrestling match in the night.
Top wrestling match, which was the opening match.
Right,
was,
which we're gonna get to
CM
right
Punk
now. Bobby Fish
versus Bobby Fish. I've always been a fan of Bobby Fish, and I just found out today that Bobby Fish is 45 years old.
I couldn't believe that. That blew my doors.
Really couldn't believe that. Like, Bobby Fish is in great shape.
Yeah, and Bobby Fish has a lot of upside. I always thought he had a lot of upside in the Undisputed Era anyway.
But at 45, do you still say that?
Yes,
knowing that there's more years behind him than in front of him?
Yeah, I still say he's going to have a nice run.
How long would that run be if time is essentially limited?
There could be 5 years.
5 years? So he's 50, he's going to pull a Christopher Days?
Yeah, maybe.
What you think about the match?
So, as I said, being the biggest CM Punk mark that I am, I even got the shirt to prove it tonight. It didn't set my world on fire. It checked the boxes of a CM Punk match. You know what I mean? It had all the spots I was looking for. It had the elbow, had the, all that stuff to go to sleep. But I don't know. It just didn't, like when we get to Danielson and Kingston, that feels like an event. Every match that Danielson has so far feels like an event. So we could talk someday about the booking of the two. But I like the way CM Punk is being booked because it's very Rocky-esque to me. It's like when Balboa's been out of the ring for a long time, they don't just send him right back. He starts, coming up against some hungry people and, some stepping stones.
It was a tune-up match.
Yeah, it was a tune-up match.
And like you said, like he's shaking the cobwebs off.
He's shaking the cobwebs off. He looks damn good, though. So, I guess the best way to describe it is, if you like steak and you go to your favorite steakhouse that you've been multiple times, and you love it every time, it's good, but it's not going to blow you away. You're not getting anything different. You're getting par for the course.
Okay.
And that was a good way to start the show. Hearing his music and the crowd erupting for it, like I said to you, Punk's music's the new Judas right now.
I was there for the experience.
Same.
They're both veteran guys.
Yeah.
And that's why during the match I said, man, how old is Bobby Fish? Bobby Fish works as if he's already done this. Yeah, and the guy next to us told us. But Bobby Fish works as if he's been doing this 30 years or 30 plus years.
Right.
Or definitely at least 20.
Yeah.
And then given his age, I said, oh yeah, I can see that. They wrestled at great pace. And when I say it was a tune-up match, that's no disrespect to Bobby Fish. You know what I mean? Like, nobody expected Bobby Fish to beat CM Punk, but we're all watching to make sure that CM Punk has his timing, and they both had great timing. He's just been out of the ring for 7 years, as he said, and he's getting everything back. And I mean, I don't think you'll never, because you're not going to fight Father Time. And the older you get,
I'm sorry,
you slow
excuse
down.
me, you're not going to fight Father Time?
Not going to fight.
Have you met Tom Brady?
We'll see how long that lasts. I love you, Tom.
It's going to last another 5 years at least. Don't worry about it.
But okay. Actually, that's a fair argument because with today's modern technology and modern medicine, 43 and 45 is not old anymore.
People are just taking care of their bodies better.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely say that. But still, like I said, it was more of a tune-up match. It was a good one. I thought that Bobby Fish, and I want everybody to go back and watch this.
He looked good.
I thought he did look good, but I thought he kicked out of the go to
Yeah,
sleep.
it looked like he kicked out at the end. It was like a Hogan Warrior situation.
Yeah, exactly. He kicked out like on the 3.
I think it was supposed to look that way, so he didn't look. I don't know. It did look like he kicked out. But so, according to our wacky rating scale, I'm gonna give it. It gets a 2 count.
Oh man. Okay. So to rate it, I'm gonna give it a 2.5, and I give it the extra half because that was my first time seeing CM Punk. The first time seeing CM Punk wrestle, and like I was like I said earlier, I was there for the experience. But I do want to preface it. It's not the same 2.5 count that I would give a pay-per-view because it wasn't built that way.
No,
but it still was a good match.
Yeah. So then next up, there was a promo about Malachi Black and the Nightmare Family. We're gonna skip that. We don't rate promos,
Unless
except
it's
for this
MJF.
one. Except this next one. So it was MJF versus Bryce Donovan, a local boy.
It was a squash match.
It was a total squash, but it was done with such style.
We don't rate squash. Yeah, exactly. So
He pinned him with one finger, which was totally an MJF move. And then after he got on the stick.
you love him,
And that was great. I am coming around to him. Damn you, you sold me on him.
I love MJF.
You really have.
MJF is the best promo
In 2021. Yes.
in the business right now.
Right now, absolutely. I can't argue. He's so crisp. He's so fluid.
I'm sorry. There's one promo that's better than MJF, and I'll take that 10 times out of 10.
If you say Bret Hart,
I want you to get no. He's active.
Okay, who?
He's active. I just want you
Don't
to
say
guess.
Max Caster.
Platinum Max, baby.
No, that's some
I
bullshit.
love Platinum Max, but no, I've never heard Platinum Max ever give a promo.
Thank God. Okay.
Who? He's an awesome freestyler. Take one guess.
What company?
WWE.
Really?
SmackDown.
It's not the head of the table, who I love.
Close.
No way.
Close.
Are you talking Jay?
Wrong.
Russo?
The best promo in
Paul
the
Heyman?
wrestling is Paul Heyman.
Always. That goes without saying, though. That goes
Then how
without...
come you didn't guess Paul Heyman first?
Because it went without saying. I just didn't think you were going to count him.
I count him.
Okay.
But next to Paul Heyman is Maxwell Jacob
Friedman. Absolutely. My God.
And he
I was going to say, it can't be Mr. Missionary.
but listen, he's an expert at being a heel. And if you're not a fan of wrestling, watch MJF, and I promise you, you'll hate him. You'll love how good he is.
To hate him, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You'll love
that's
how
where
good
I'm at.
he is
That's
at
where
the
I'm at.
ability to get people to hate him.
That is where I'm at. I'm at the absolute dumbfoundedness of, fuck, this kid is so good.
He's a genius.
And he's only like 24.
He's a genius.
He's so goddamn good. And he's got so much upside. Absolutely.
Thank you. That's upside.
That is upside. He's a future champion all over it. A multi-time champ. But anyways, so the promo after the match was great. He ripped on Boston, said some truths, about our accent, about our mothers, all that shit.
I agree with the accent, by the way.
I agree with all of it. But anyways, when he said, then when he was like ripping into Darby about how he handled Sting, that was great. And then Sting's music play, and I don't know why, but I always fucking fall for this with MJF. He's notorious for this. Next time someone's music hits during MJF, I'm not falling for it immediately. No.
The only time I seen that executed better,
Jericho.
No, not even.
Oh.
Shawn Michaels in Montreal in 2005.
Oh, yeah.
That promo was one of the best, and not even because he played the joke.
Yeah.
Not even
that was
not
good.
even because he played the joke, but HBK, that was a masterclass. That was a masterclass, and it was executed to the same degree here. Only Sting was actually in the building.
But MJF could give lessons. So anyways, he brings up the pinky ring, the diamond ring, and man, there's no stutter, there's no fumbling for words.
He fumbled once, but you barely could even catch it.
I couldn't tell, so I didn't even know he fumbled. He's just he's so crisp. And his wrestling is getting much better. The style he wrestles is getting much better. And I watched some interviews with him, and now I got a little bit more into his head, and now I understand. I'm not talking like show interviews. I'm talking like shoot interviews or kayfabe interviews, because he never breaks character. But when he talks about what his heroes of wrestling are, they're all old school wrestling. And when he talks about the very best promo he's ever heard, man, he's right. It's such a genius level promo. When he talks about Jake the Snake, when he was watching him years ago, Jake the Snake was doing this promo where like he was talking so low and no one could understand what he's saying, and
you're gonna ease into you're gonna lean over to hear him.
You gotta lean over to hear him, and then all of a sudden he goes, "I wasn't even speaking. You see how good I am? I don't even have to say anything to get your attention." And like MJF said that was the moment that he decided he really wanted to be a wrestler, because he said, wow, he's like, I'm turning my TV up as loud as it can go. I'm like 11 years old and nothing's coming out. And then Jake the Snake goes, see that? I didn't even say anything. I don't have to. You already paying attention. And I was like, fuck. I got to go back and watch this promo. I know I've seen it, but I got to go back and watch it, because Jake the Snake had some epic promos. He was always good for cutting it. So I'm like, okay, that's his style. And his style of wrestling, he's not a high flyer. He's not a, finishing move guy. He's old school textbook wrestling.
And he says that. And he says, I'm not sure if it was an interview or something he wrote, but he was saying, all you guys that do all these flips and dives.
Yeah, I've seen it.
He said, you're not going to be able to do that in 4 years.
Right, so I thought that was great. And then, of course, he plays the joke on us. It got me good, got you good. And then all of a sudden, Sting's music really hits. And he's there. And then Darby comes from the crowd. And Darby was in the crowd in, his fucking trench coat from Say Anything. I don't know what was going on. I was afraid he was going to flash the crowd. I was very worried. But, that was cool. And Darby is just, he's so good at looking like a menace being a twig. He just throws his body in a force that you believe will knock down these huge Titan guys.
Yep.
And it's just great. So, full gear, and I love it.
Yep,
that was his promo. He goes, MJF, full gear. Boom, drop the mic. Perfect. That's all you needed. So, MJF, we're not going to rate the squash match, obviously, but just the crowd segment, everything was great. So then next was Ethan Page versus Sammy Gravar.
Another guy that we said is the future.
Sammy Gravar?
And Sammy Gravar is growing on you. I've told you about Sammy.
Oh, man, you were trying to sell me on.
Explain why Sammy Gravar is finally growing on you.
So I didn't take him serious as, to me, he was the goof of the inner circle. He wasn't a menace. The most entertaining thing he did for me was get hit by the golf cart by Matt Hardy in the last few years. But lately, he's been really coming into his own. This face character they have him being is so much more suited for him than being a heel, I feel. Because faces you can have in peril, and you can have them get squashed, or you can have them succeed. In both ways, you cheer for them. The underdog, you're going to cheer for. When he's a heel, you're like, I am not going to cheer for this dude to beat up my favorites.
He has a face that you can slap. That's why I always thought that he was a good heel.
He does have that kind of face, but he's better now. I think he's come into his own a little bit more. And I was very against him beating Miro for the TNT title, because I thought Miro was on a freaking roll.
Yeah,
but he did a great job beating him. And that was an awesome match. And it was an awesome moment. And he actually got Miro up for that move. I was like, holy shit, this is the deal.
That was a great event. That was on the
it was a Rampage, wasn't it?
No, it was the Dynamite.
It was the Dynamite, that's right.
Road to the Top aired right after that.
Watch it while you can.
but yeah, he wrestled Ethan Page tonight.
Good match.
It was this was really good, actually.
Took some serious high spots. Ethan Page I like, another guy who has got some decent upside to him. I hate Dan Lambert. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I hate him. I hate his face. I hate the heat. I hate his promo. He sucks. I don't give a shit that that's the type of goal he's got to try to drag that kind of heat out of you. No. He's an eyesore on my TV. I don't want him. I think Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page are so much better suited without him. I like Scorpio Sky. I think he's so much more suited without him.
What did you rate the match?
So the match, I give it 2.5 count. It was higher than the Punk match for me.
Yeah, that's why I gave this one a full 3.
Oh,
it's the match on this, and I DVR'd it. So it's the match that I will go back and rewatch.
So this is what we missed. Tony Nese was in the crowd again tonight because he's signed with AEW. We know that now. That's a good signing. I like that idea.
Not bad.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So it was a good match. Sammy won, retains. Great. I didn't expect him not to retain.
But then we get the family reunion.
Yes. This was I would have to say the moment of Dynamite for me, besides I like MJF's promo was really great. Yeah, we got the family reunion. They start beating down Ethan Page. I mean, not beating down Ethan Page. They start beating down Sammy Guevara, and all of a sudden you're going, what are they, not in the inner circle anymore? What's going on? It's like they heard you say it, and then boom, Judas hit, and man, did that place go nuts.
Sure did.
You and me was singing like a motherfucker out of game.
Were.
And it was great. It was so good. First of all, Chris Jericho, I'm wearing a Chris Jericho shirt to the arena. He's one of my all-time favorites, always will be, a GOAT for me. Oh my God, I've seen him multiple times now, and he never gets old to me. I think it was great. His promo was good. I love how he gives Sammy props. Like he was holding him up, holding the arm up for the belt. Like Jericho definitely isn't like the spotlight hog he used to be. He's really about giving back, and I like this. You know, I remember I was questioning, he's so good at being a heel, why the fuck do we want to turn Jericho face? Well, I'm all right with it in this capacity where he's surrounded by an ensemble. For now, I'm okay with it. Do I want to see Jericho heel again down the road? Absolutely. But right now, I'm good with it. And I think you're going to see Jericho take a break probably for a little while. But yeah, so that was awesome. We got the family reunion, and obviously we get the big match at Full Gear. You know, Americans Top Fools against Jericho and, you know, the Inner Circle. And I think that's awesome.
And the revived Inner Circle.
The revived Inner Circle. And everyone looked good.
What was after that one?
So after that was, well, he was backstage with Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston talking about, you know, their match on the future Rampage, which we saw. We will not spoil. It was good. And then, yeah, did it end with this? I don't think it ended with this. With Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Oshida. I'll be honest, this was when I took my break.
You took your break. So this match was actually a really good match.
I heard it was, yeah.
We haven't seen Serena Deeb in a long time.
I love Serena Deeb.
And I've always been a fan of Oshida. She had, up until this point, the longest title reign as the women's champion. And this match really exposed Serena Deeb. For, you know, she came out, you know, the nostalgia hit. We haven't seen her for a long time. Yep. She gets a pop. She was obviously working as a heel, but then, you know, she winds up losing the match in a true contestant fashion, and then went all out heel after that. So that's pretty much stamped.
That's
Serena Deeb is a heel.
I like that though.
This match was a 2 count for me.
Okay, I can't rate it because I didn't see it. But the next match I saw, and you took a break, was 10 versus John Moxley.
Oh yeah. I was watching from the.
It was outside. Like freaking, I don't know. It was like 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, Mox just came through the crowd longer than it took for his music to play. he just hit the shit out of a couple moves. Boom, done. The paradigm shift gone.
Mox had to go move his car.
Yeah, he wasn't getting paid by the hour.
Yeah, I was in a long concession line, and watching this on the screen outside. Yeah, and I said, "Oh boy, like damn, I gotta get back." I started saying, "You know what? F the popcorn and soda. I'm just gonna get back to my seat."
Yeah, but this was great. This was like, it was just fine. You know, he just bolted out. He wasn't getting paid by the hour. Did his shit. Jumped over and then went through the crowd. And I love this version of John Moxley. I really do. I like it. It's suited for him very well. With the crowd singing along, and you know, he just has that energy. You just come down, boom, gone. Back. So I was fine with it. I'm not rating it. It was a squash. I mean, it's John Moxley, so I'm not gonna give it anything bad. I love Moxley. So that was fine. And then we got Cody's promo, which was epic. It was such a good promo. Cody has learned to cut promos in such a great way.
He's not turning, everyone.
He's not turning.
Stop booing him.
Stop booing him. He don't care. He allows you to boo. He allows you to cheer because you buy a ticket. So that's his message. He told us to tell you guys. So we said, okay, Cody, we will.
Then the main event for...
The main event... Oh, yeah. Andrade came out, though. That was cool. To challenge Cody. So that was neat. And then that's going to take place. But, yeah, so the main event was the Dark Order versus the Super Elite.
And costumes.
In Ghostbusters costume regalia, which was really cool. You heard the Ghostbusters theme ring, and I was like, "What? Am I hearing Ghostbusters?"
That's what I was expecting.
I wasn't sure.
I was expecting the elite, the elite, and then they come on to the Ghostbusters,
and it worked. It was good. So that was a good match.
I couldn't take it serious. I'm sorry. I just couldn't take it serious.
But it was a good match because they had some amazing innovative spots. And again, this is now 3 years into AEW, their third year. We're not...
Wait a minute. They had some amazing spots. We saw the Ghostbusters beat down on Kratos.
I said what I said. It was amazing spots.
I couldn't take it serious.
Listen, you stop. It was great.
And the Marshmallow Man. Hey, man.
And then when Adam Page revealed himself as...
How can they not know that Adam Page is the Marshmallow Man?
I didn't know.
How could they not know? And they walked out with him. That's what I'm saying.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, listen. I understand we like to have fun, and I'm not a stooge like that. But I said, like, the moment I seen him come out in costumes, and Evil Uno was a cowboy,
listen,
and
he was Adam Page.
I just said, okay.
I thought it was good. I give the match a 2 count. It was a great experience. The whole show, that's how it ended. That was how the show ended, with Adam Page revealing himself as Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And I loved it. I was cool. But unfortunately, we don't have enough time right now. But, the real meat and potatoes is the Kingston and Danielson match, which was just
So now, by the way, I mean, I gave the main event Dynamite, like I said, like 1.5 count. I gave it a 1.5. I just couldn't take it serious.
Yeah, I gave it a 2.
But then we transitioned over to Rampage. Like you said, the meat and potatoes, the match of the night that wasn't
the match of the night was
Sammy
the opening
Guevara,
match.
Ethan Page. The opening match. That felt like a good... Eddie Kingston's so good, man.
He is getting so good. And Danielson, he doesn't have a bad match. And, all his matches feel like events.
I know.
They all feel important. This was the juxtaposition I said between Punk and Danielson. Punk feels like he's working upper mid-card level right now, where Danielson is a straight-up main eventer all day. And, every man... But he's a main eventer who's doing dark elevation matches. But he's still bringing it to those matches.
Right.
And this was great. So, I mean, this is how we're going to end, folks, because unfortunately, my stop's getting off. But I would have to say, yeah, he's definitely the favorite to go in and win the title. Because you really schooled me. I said, how do you not give it to Adam Page? Be like, really? You're going to have Danielson win and go through these epic matches to not beat Omega? And you're right. Yeah. So, what would you give this match for our closing thoughts? I give this a straight 3.5.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I give it a 3 point. I give it the extra half count because it was just it was better than Gravar and Ethan Page.
It was.
I absolutely loved that one. And I guess to give a turbo review of everything else. Matt Sydal and Dante.
It was all right.
It was all right. I'd say I give that I'll give it a 2.
I gave it a 1.5.
And then
Britt Baker versus Abaddon. Because it's Britt Baker, I love her, but I have to give the match a 2.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it depends. So if you haven't seen the show yet, because I'm likely going to upload this. Hey, you know what? Forget about Rampage. You guys didn't hear anything. Convenient amnesia.
Convenient amnesia.
Just watch the show and tell us what you think.
Exactly. What a great night. And that is that.